Today, we're diving into a problem that trips up so many incredibly smart people, that huge, surprising gap between being a star student and becoming a pro in the office.
So, let me ask you something. You've spent years hitting the books. You passed all the big exams, maybe even with flying colors. But does that really mean you're prepared for day one of the actual job? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer is a lot more complicated than you might think.
And this leads us right into something called the brilliance paradox. It's this weird, fundamental conflict that can really mess with even the sharpest minds just as they're starting their careers.
You see this paradox pop up all the time in super technical fields. I mean, take chartered accountancy. You could be an absolute wizard with the theory, a total genius on paper. But that skill set doesn't just magically translate to, handling a tough client meeting, dealing with office politics, or even just crushing the interview that gets you in the door. Okay, so let's put a name on this thing. It's called the corporate readiness gap. And it's not a small gap either. It's this massive chasm between what school teaches you and what the real world actually needs from you.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is, well, it's stark. In academia, it's all about one thing, right? Technical knowledge, theory, strategy, basically passing the test. But the workplace, that's a whole different ballgame. It demands that you apply what you know, that you can talk to clients, that you can sell yourself in an interview and have the confidence and just basic etiquette to be a good teammate.
This isn't just some abstract theory. This is a real challenge that one very experienced mentor saw happening over and over again. And he decided he had to do something about it.
This mentor, his name is Ramki, noticed this really clear pattern. In his own words, he saw graduates who were, quote, brilliant in exams but face huge challenges when they enter corporate life. It was never about them not being smart enough, not at all. It was about them just not being ready for that corporate world. And that one observation, well, that became his mission.
And listen, this guy knows what he's talking about. We're talking more than 15 years deep in the corporate trenches at massive firms, places like Infosys, Wipro, and HCL. He's seen it from the inside.
And on top of all that real-world experience, his qualifications are just staggering. He's a chartered accountant, a company secretary, a cost and management accountant, and he has a law degree. So yeah, he has seen this readiness gap from literally every angle you can imagine.
So what do you do with that kind of unique insight? Well, you build something. He started Ramki Academy, not to pile on more theory, but to build a very specific bridge. A bridge to get new professionals from the stress of their final exam to the confidence of their first day on the job. Okay, so how do you actually build that bridge? I mean, what does that look like in practice? The solution he came up with is a really clear framework called the 5-Pillar Launchpad. The program itself is called the Corporate Launchpad, which is a pretty perfect name, don't you think? The entire goal is to provide that final, super critical boost that launches you from the classroom right into the boardroom. And here's how it breaks down. It's a complete system. Pillar 1 is about the basics, getting your resume and LinkedIn looking so good they can't ignore you. Pillar 2 is about what comes next, totally cracking the interview to seal the deal. Pillar 3 focuses on communication, making sure your brilliant ideas actually get heard. Number 4 is so important for surviving, corporate etiquette, and how to navigate those first critical 90 days. And finally, it all comes together with Pillar 5, building your own personal brand and leadership skills for the long haul.
All right, let's just zoom out for a minute here and look at the big picture. Because this whole idea, this whole problem, it goes way beyond just one profession. Yeah, we've been using chartered accountants as our case study, but let's be real. This corporate readiness gap is a totally universal thing. It doesn't matter if you're a software engineer, a graphic designer, a marketer. That disconnect between what you learned and what you're expected to do is very, very real for almost everyone.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway for anyone in any field just starting out. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Your technical skills, your grades, they get your foot in the door. They get you the interview. But it's the soft skills, how you communicate, how you collaborate, your confidence, that's what actually lands you the job. And more importantly, that's what gets you the promotion. Actively building these bridge skills yourself is what separates a decent career from a truly great one. So I'll leave you with a final question to chew on. Think about your own career. What's the one skill, the one personal bridge that you need to build right now to close your own career gap and really launch yourself forward?